The new executive director of MDOT, it is the one and only our friend Brad White. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
We were sitting here talking about full circle. Man, how long have we been doing this?
Probably about 20 years, I guess.
Yeah, at least 20, if not longer. And it's good to see you are where you are, and boy, what a comfortable fit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm excited. It's kind of like going home.
Speaking of which, have you moved into home there?
I have, yeah. Started July 1, so last Thursday.
Where in the world did you start there? Because I mean, it's not new to you. You were there with Dick Hall. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about it. How you made this journey?
Well, I mean, I've always admired the job because it's one of the few in state government that I think, politicians like to say you should run government like a business. Yeah. But anybody that's been in government knows that with the regulation and rules that we have, that's a popular saying, but you can't always do that. They're two different types of entities. But with the Department of Transportation, there are a lot of similarities. I mean, you have a board of directors and the Transportation Commission. Mm-hmm. You've got a CEO and executive director. You've got a talented team of people that are working on producing a product, and you've got a consumer that uses the product. So it's a unique place to be and one that offers a lot of opportunity. So I'm excited about being back there and getting started.
So you look at as a mission statement, Brad, as executive director, to be a voice of the combined three commissioners for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, they are the policy-making body of the agency. They set policy, they set direction, and they've hired me to implement their policies and to manage the agency in a way that hopefully moves us forward, in everything and providing a transportation system.
When you start looking at exactly what's on your plate, you moved in at a time now since you've just begun to have enough planning as far as the fiscal year all the way through the next legislative session. What's some of the top priorities?
Well, the top priority is building a better relationship with the legislature. Yeah. MDOT had a pretty tough session this last go-around, and I think building a relationship of trust and mutual collaboration between us and the legislative leadership as well as the governor, I think is just beneficial for everybody. And hopefully the path that my career has taken in the past will allow me to do that.
You look at the format that we have. Not a lot of states have this. I think we're in the minority to having a commissioner. Most of the states have it under the governor.
I think that's right.
But I got to tell you, being someone who's been from the Delta and now we're statewide and we have this communication with our family across the state, I think it would be one of the agencies that would be the most difficult to change because the people in each district want some voice. And I think if you decided to redo that, you're going to catch hell.
Well, I come from working for the commission before, and I know for a fact, my job when I worked for Commissioner Hall was basically constituent services. And so I spent every day dealing with people that were having problems with the department. Yeah. Anything ranging from traffic control to needing, work on the side, mowing grass, things like that. And so having someone that's sensitive to the public, I think, is very important, so.
You think the three commissioners are in unison on most items, on most
issues? I get that impression. Yeah. They all have good backgrounds. Commissioner Caldwell's a former supervisor, so he certainly can empathize and relate to all the boards of supervisors around the state and their needs and has a cooperative desire to work with them. Both Commissioner Simmons and Commissioner King come from the legislature, and they understand how policy is made, and they understand how laws are made, and the art of compromise and working to try to find a way to get people to a consensus. So my impression is that they work very well together and that they're unified in the direction in which they want to go.
And we've both known Commissioner Simmons for a long time, and even though he's a Democrat, I don't think that plays into it.
No, most roads aren't partisan.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed a good working relationship with him, and I have every indication that will continue in this role.
Where do you have you gotten your hands around where the money is as far as the piles of money out there as far as stimulus is concerned? And have you had a chance to look at what might be forthcoming as far as the infrastructure package? Somewhat.
We're still waiting to see what gets out of Congress. There's still in a lot of negotiations up there as far as what they're going to do with the infrastructure bill. And from my days in Washington, I know that nothing's for sure until you've got it in your hand. So I'm still anxiously waiting to see if they actually come out with a package.
Yeah, well, it's not all the way out yet. The House did pass theirs, did they?
I think so, yeah, but we've got a long way to go.
Yeah. When you look, and as you mentioned, again, Brad White is my guest this morning, Executive Director of MDOT. Brad, when you look at this, you see what the PR is, and it's been there. It's part of politics. Why do you think the PR, as far as between the relationship between the House and Senate, and even the governor's office, and the MDOT, why do you think it's been rather abrasive? Because they almost, this new Caldwell and Simmons for sure, kind of inherited this.
Well, for one, MDOT's one of the larger special fund agencies that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to have their own money and to set their own direction more so than many of the agencies that are completely dependent on the legislature. Their sheer size has a lot to do with that as well. But you've got a lot of good people there that come to work every day, and their purpose is to build bridges, to build roads, to invest in other modes of transportation. And they don't get involved in the politics of things. And so I think that just helping educate our legislative leadership on what we do and how we do it, and seeking their input and having a collaborative nature just goes a long way.
I know, talking to Commissioner Caldwell recently, and we've also talked to Simmons, and we've had Commissioner King on several times too, but everyone wants to improve the efficiency. How do you do that, and what areas do you think that there could be some improvements in?
Well, I mean, we're reviewing that now. I came in with no predisposed views of anything, but I think that it's somewhat biblical that if you're faithful with the smaller things, you'll be trusted with the larger things. So I think identifying just small victories that we can win to show that we are looking at where things can be more efficient, where we can be more effective in the use of the taxpayer money that we've been entrusted with, and just kind of building equity in that relationship account to show that that's the direction in which we want to go.
Have things changed a lot as far as you get back in there and look at it from the days of Dick Hall?
In some ways it hasn't. In some ways it has. The organization has changed somewhat. The placement of different divisions and where they are is a little bit different. But by and large, it's still the same. It's still the same atmosphere of people and kind of like a big family. So, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of changes that I've noticed.
You've had a chance to look at this now, and I guess it's now effective as far as the changes that were made to move a couple of things over from MDOT to the Department of Public Safety. Yeah. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm going to look on the bright side. I don't have to worry about getting called about fixing tickets or dealing with any of those type of things.
That's exactly right. So that is a bright side.
But there's some sense in having all of our law enforcement under one umbrella, and I think that the department, prior to me coming on, we worked well with Commissioner Tyndall to make that a seamless transfer.
Where is that now as far as the status of that transfer?
It started July 1 by statute, and I'm waiting. I believe we have an MOU that I've got to sign that works out some of the details that I haven't seen, but I mean, it's effectively done.
What's that going to do to your budget? Will it decrease because of that?
I think they transferred a little better than $12 million that went with it, but I mean, the $12 million was allocated for law enforcement. So,
does that have any changes for as where they're no longer needed at location one, they move over someplace else?
I don't think so. I mean, their responsibilities and duties are still going to be the same. They're still going to be enforcing the same things that they were before.
Will they redo the schematic or the looks of the vehicles?
That's a question for Commissioner Tyndall.
You don't have to worry